Baby doll, I am excited to speak to you. Why? You are an antique wooden cupboard carrying plates and cups for the guests. We have recent news coming in. Please take a seat over there. CPI came in hotter by 0.1%, but I had a feeling going into this that we just wouldn't care. Why? I've seen a lot of the data and the charts, and I've been able to identify that towards the end of these cycles, the insiders, they know when the turn is coming. So they don't really care about the data points towards the very end. Now, you might ask me, how do I know the turn is coming? Well, you don't really, but you can feel like we've been going around in limbo for a long time now. And we're going to need every single freaking pump we can get, friends, because we are still following the Mt. Gox Ponzi fractal cycle. Are we? Look at this. Look how close we are. We are now in the down poopy zone. But I want to remind you as well, there are periods in the past when it disconnected, like right here, where we went up and the other thing went down. As well, we had the FTX collapse and then this thing converged here. So there are periods in time where you don't really get a definitive up or down response or type or good framework to use. But as you move towards the cycle, you end up being around the same point. So what we might find is, we might find that by the time we get to January 2024, Bitcoin's like 31K. It's just the method we got to get there is different to what we expected. So we had the CPI coming in hotter, and it wasn't too much hotter. It is what it is. We also have these other trash news. Friends, trust me, I'm waking up every day. I'm just thinking like, can ya freaking do something? Why are you down here? There's war going on. The cycle's playing out. They're going to print all over again. They've already printed. They've literally let us know, hey, we're going to start throwing the propaganda your way. We already know this propaganda everywhere. Look to your left and right, friends. Everybody's talking about the war. Look at this, live right now. Oh my God, politicians and Australia Speaks. The peanut team and the ice cream guys. Look, 100%. It's all repeating, okay? It's all repeating. It's going to come. It's going to get hotter. They're going to get more money, and then something's going to go on later on, okay? War is inflationary. That's all we need to know. We also have Mastercard, otherwise known as Mastercard, says CBDC trials are successful. So this is where it's all moving to. So if you want to know, well, you do know, friends. That's why you like, subscribe, press the belly button and all. You want to know where this is all going. You know where it's all going, friends. We're going to live in a world where, okay, we're going to have these little smart cities, which are these little like dystopian type of stuff. People can't migrate from place to place, and they're going to try to put everything in the same cities there. You're all going to be using one currency. It is what it is. Now, when people say this, we don't really believe it because like, sounds too bleak. But we're just etching closer towards this. Let's just hope that our bags get a good pump before we get there, because we're betting on something that nobody else can really see. Well, the main population, if they spent 5 minutes researching it, they'd see it too. We also have this rumor, right, from Genesis, a crypto broker, halting withdrawals. We don't really know what's going on. We know that there were leaked comments from Caroline. She said basically like Genesis had some conversations with Soy Bankman-Fried, and they're like, hey man, we're like pretty much almost bankrupt. We need some money. So we don't know exactly what's going there. I mean, all these inner workings and these inner dealings. I mean, just, can you hurry up and wash it away, man? Like, come on, man. We've had the whole year to get rid of yous. We didn't care about yous anymore. Also got to repeat, we reported on this a few times, but I just got to remind you, Caroline's to-do list included getting the regulators to crack down on Binance, okay, to shut Binance down. You got to read between the lines. The direct quote, Soy Bankman-Fried was chugging on soy, eating cucumbers, rolling around in his tutu, and he was directly communicating with the regulators. They said, hey, we got to get down Binance, because if we get down Binance, FTX's market share will go up, and then we can control crypto. That is a deep state happening right in front of our eyes. Everybody's still bearish as hell. Bitcoin at around $26,700. We're just watching these little candles, weekly candles print. I mean, this sucks so much because, friends, if you go back to the Mt. Gox Ponzi cycle, the thrust upwards on Bitcoin was so high. Like, look how thin Bitcoin was. It was able to do, look at these moves, like this zip up and this zip up and this zip up again. You see these moves? That's because you were early back then. I didn't know about Bitcoin back then. Had no idea. Had never heard of it. Didn't know about the industry whatsoever. You could see it was just moving up and up and up. But of course, you're getting compensated for your risk then, because it could have just gone to zero. You had no idea how to price it. You don't know about anything back then. So, you know, this is just the price we pay for the blue chip status now. We're still waiting to see our favorite coins like Baby Doll Chainlink to see if this wasn't a fake out. Like, it has procced this screen, but I mean, flipping around here, this takes so much time, friends. I know this macro stuff, you do infrequent moves, but that's what you get. That's why you got to focus your mind on like just increasing your position. What can you do? Or surviving to the end. I know it's crazy. That's why no one wants to get off the boat. Once it finally starts getting exciting, no one wants to leave, but that's actually the end. Watching Pulse chart as well. This is PLS, PulseChain, which is real DeFi. It's still screwing around this lower level. We also had some updates from Richard Hart, which might instill some confidence, talking about some legal stuff going in. This is PulseX as well. So, I mean, on these weekly candles, we're not really doing anything. Everybody's playing around. These little, there's a level here on this 1 hour chart. There's nothing, man. Honestly, friends, there's nothing. Bottoms, you don't get a specific price, okay? It's a region of time. Unfortunately, I thought we had bottomed months and months ago. It's sad to say that, yes, after 2 years, you're still getting obliterated and we need more time. But look on the positive side. Look at this PulseChain ecosystem. Look at this big, beautiful picture. There are more to come. There are heaps of others. I shared them all. I just want everybody to see that there's many others to come out here. Look, this PulseChain, real DeFi. PulseChain, PulseX, Hex, real DeFi. Everything's still pushing on. The community's still growing. Yeah, I know. People sell the bottoms. That's what happens. People sell and they leave, but they haven't really left. You just think they've left, okay? You know if they've really left when the candles turn green again, okay? Then they come back in. That's why the price and the people's the same, friends. It's Metcalfe's law. It's a description of the people there. It's not a prediction of the formula. It's not saying, okay, you know, if we increase, like have the people gone up and the price hasn't caught up. It's not that, okay? We can actually see you get N squared as your price increase. That's because if you just get more people in, you'll notice the price just starts going up like this. But if you get people leaving as well, it gets down. That's what we're waiting for. So it's good to see all these projects. Everybody's still building. We need the community to flesh out, and we'll see what happens from there. This is the post from Richie Hart. Okay, so Richie Hart saying, lawyers, proposed rule comments. Like, yeah, I ask some like questions that a judge, when you ask this, you can't ignore. Okay, so yeah, friends, I wouldn't throw like this false hope in out here, but these are actually super intelligent questions. Like, if I was the corrupt SEC, I would be scared reading this. I'm not joking. Okay, so it goes like, 1, what if someone commented seed words giving dominion and control over some crypto value? So, for example, like, because that's what crypto is, friends. Your keys, you don't actually have your key. You just have the words that access it. So you don't actually own your crypto. You just have that access thing. So here's the thing, right? What happens if, so let's say someone had $1 million, okay? Someone had $1 million and they tweeted their key out to the world. Well, what's the rule say for that, for example? Because you've now shared, now the whole world has collectively seen your keys, right? So technically everybody owes that, right? And then how's the government going to like split the tax there? Now, of course, someone goes and steals it, they go move it somewhere else. But at that point, the government's like, no, at this snapshot in time, everybody in the world saw this key. What are you going to do? Tax everybody for that? Does everybody have to report that? You see these? That's just one question, by the way. So all these, I like this type of rhetorical, not even really rhetorical questions. They're things that have never been fleshed out in the crypto industry, and it just shows us how early we are. And that's what we want to see when it comes to the judge looking at this. Hopefully, they don't scam us like they've been scamming every single other industry since the beginning of time. And moving us back to that CPI, we had that CPI come out. It's not the end of the world. This little 0.1% here and there. It's all a scam, friends. These numbers are fake. We have a higher base now because they printed so much money. I'm just so curious. How do they scam the stock market up? Well, we know how. We know how that scam repo market, we know what they're doing. We know that if they get that stock market down, it's literally game over. It is game over. It's the only thing going on. Okay, so markets, they need jerk downwards a bit. But remember, war is inflationary. You'll find it very hard for anybody to want to store US dollars. But I know it's crazy. Like, but markets aren't going up. I know. It just takes a bit of a spark somewhere. And we can't ignore there's still that $7 trillion of US debt to roll over in 2026. They have to print that just to roll it over. Don't forget this. And here's a chart here just to show you some perspective, right? So this is the CPI chart over time, and you have core CPI. So the core CPI is in the black line. Don't worry about it. It's just the trimmed part of it. And it goes down, and we have this spike up, spike down. It is what it is, okay? But they only do the rolling back 12-month period. So over time, it's already smoothed out. Now, what are we waiting for? Okay, so look at this. So it's hovering at its higher base for this current period of time. We're going to need more time to rinse through it. But if the economy cracks, it goes down anyway. I want you to know, go back in history. I've shown you actually many times. This is a chart right here of the interest rate with the US Fed, okay? The US Fed has started cutting when inflation was hot. So for example, here, you see this period, 2007 GFC, inflation was like 4.8% and they were cutting. Why? It's because they knew the next 6 months coming were going to be really bad, and they were, and it got worse and worse and worse. So don't be fooled by this. Oh, they can't cut rates because of this and that, because of inflation. No, it's all a bunch of baloney. When they actually need to be forward-looking, they do get forward-looking. There are many times in history where they just started cutting, even though the inflation reading was hot, because they know it's a scam. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see what that unemployment rate does. The unemployment rate is like 3.7, 3.8%. It is what it is. We need it to crack higher. I know it's sad to say. I don't want people to lose their jobs, but I don't want our bags to go to zero anyway. So which way is it going to be? You know it's all a scam. We just hope that the scam works in our favor for this one time after 2.5 years of bleeding. And I want to end with this, baby dolls. Please be careful of buying new coins. I know as time goes on, and you get more bored, you will feel the urge to rush into the next thing that you see. I'm telling you, not the right thing to do, okay? I promise you, friends. I want to make it just as much as you, but we are not making it until Bitcoin's like this 40 to 50K. We have plenty of time. It's not happening overnight, not even happening in 1 month, not even 3 months, okay? It's going to take a long time. In crypto, a long time, right? It could be like 1 or 2 years, but you're not going to miss out on something, and it's going to be life-changing gains. You're going to think you do, but it's not going to happen. How do we know this? We went through the stats. 2,400 coins, 24 coins actually went, 1%, okay? Well, you buy them, and most of them are actually down now and crushed. So I have this chart here, so please don't focus on this ticker. A lot of people got upset, like, oh, don't say this coin's a scam. Like, I'm just letting you know, friends. Look, meme coins and all this stuff have very, very, very short life cycles, very short. Don't forget, PulseChain is real DeFi, but there's going to be a hotbed of scammers out there in every other industry, every sector, try and take your money. And the whole point is, I don't care about this coin. I'm just telling you, when you play in this world, you have a high probability of waking up to that. You just wake up, down. And you're probably wondering, like, what can you do to do it? Well, here's the sad part, okay? The sad part is, most coins, they have founders and people in the inside. They're willing to do this at any second. So it depends on how much they get spooked. So I could say, right, oh, these guys probably got spooked. Why? They saw the war heating up and they're like, screw it, I don't like it. There's a war going on. I'm hearing all this bad stuff, the ice cream team and the peanut butter team. And they're just going around. They're like, oh, I don't like it. I think crypto's not going to do good this October. And they're just out. And how do they get out? They literally rug everything, absolutely everything. This is what happened to Pepe, just to clarify for you. Just to remind you about Pepe, friends. Very important. I'm going to remind you about Pepe. Don't forget, one of the dudes who turned like $128 into 1.2 million in Pepe, all right? He put $2,500 into Pepe here in the ICO. You see here? But what happened, okay? The USDC depegged. And so the original Pepe, the one that they were trying to do, they rugged everything. He lost his $2,500. So then when he came to do the real Pepe, he only did like $220, $250, whatever it was, around there. So that's super important, you know? So you're not just battling with yourself. Unfortunately, as you go into these hyper speculative stuff, you have to gamble that Bitcoin and world news events don't spook the founders of your project and make them rug instantly. So, you know what I mean? It's so hard. The probability tree of you getting it right, it's very, very difficult. But if you want to play in that game, that's what happens. That's the world you step into. And of course, there's always going to be new coins, new stories, and new everything coming along. That's going to make the stuff you bought before then look old. So don't forget to keep your eye on the prize, friends. Make sure you like, subscribe. Tell mom and dad we are still going to make it. I'll catch you next one.